Mahodaya, we can start.
So you can spotlight me if you want. That way it's easier for everybody. Om Sadashivasamaarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavirjam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bhagini, is there a way you can spotlight me? Do you know how to spotlight?
I forgot actually how to do it.
Just click on my image on the three dots, and then you will see. I think it will say something like spotlight.
Okay. No, it's not showing actually.
On my image, you will see three dots, and then on the three dots, if you click on the three dots, it should say something like add spotlight or something like that.
No, I don't know.
You can pause the recording. You can pause the recording now.
Okay.
All right. So I'm looking at all of you. I'm seeing a gallery, and I've spotlight myself as a default. But you can look at the gallery by choosing the gallery view on your screen. So thank you once again for inviting me here today. So I gather from Haripriya ji that you've been having a series of intense sessions. It's not. I thought Sanskrit was intense, but then it is very obvious this Indian knowledge landscape that too. My goodness, so many darshanas and this Vedangas and Vedas, and it goes on and on. Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaranam, Jyotisham. And I see some of you have been posting, writing notes on that. So it's a lot of hard work you've gone through. But today I want you to relax. Relax means not that you're not relaxing otherwise. What I meant is that don't furiously write notes and things like that. That's what I mean. And I want to do a couple of things. I may not have time to do all that. And I want you to ask me questions also towards the end, thoughts, feedback, etc. Two things. One is, how is this Indian darshanas, Indian vision of life, and all our acharyas have proposed so many darshanas. How do you place that against the idea of Western philosophy? Philosophy, right? Suppose somebody asks you, what is this Indian knowledge landscape course that you're taking? What are they teaching you? Suppose somebody asks, what will you say? You have to say, and you have to say it in English. You can't use Sanskrit words. Suppose, okay? What will you say? That person doesn't know much about all this Vedanta, Nyaya, Sankhya, Yoga. Only yoga they know is the asana, Tadasana, and some couple of asana. That's all. Okay. Then what will you say? Most likely we might say something like, oh, I'm studying Indian philosophical system. Right? That's what we might say. Philosophy, because that person understands what philosophy. So this word philosophy, we use the word philosophy to also refer to all our acharyas, all the darshanas we have studied, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa, and now Uttara Mimamsa coming up. All of those are called darshanas, Shad darshanas. But we use the word philosophy for that also. But I want you, I hope I can succeed in telling you that what we are studying is not philosophy. Just bear with me forever. few minutes. You see, you just look at the word philosophy, the Western idea of philosophy. Philosophy is, literal meaning is love for knowledge, right? That's what it means. It's been a while since I checked the meaning, but long ago in college and all, when I looked up, I think they said love. Phil means to love. Sophie means knowledge, something like that. So love for knowledge. Well, the non-philosophical subjects also, you need a love for knowledge. I mean, all of us have gotten degrees. Without a love for knowledge, you can't get those degrees. But they are not called philosophy. They're called sciences, nutrition, radiology, psychology. So many things are. Now, that Western idea of philosophy is optional. Like any subject you take is optional. I want to study medicine. Yeah, okay, go ahead and study medicine. There is no, it's a subject I want to study, that's all. Nobody says if you don't study medicine, your life is incomplete. Nobody can say, make that statement. It's another subject like any other subject everybody studies. Philosophy is that kind of, it falls in that category of what? Of any one of the many subjects you can study. So Western philosophy means if you go to the philosophy department, now I spent 30 years in the US and they have huge departments. My God, some of these universities, 30,000, 40,000 students, and every department is just 4 or 5 floors. I used to wonder, philosophy, so many floors, so many rooms, people going in and out. What are they doing? Well, they're doing a lot. There's Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, okay, and then Voltaire, Hume, Immanuel Kant, and Arthur Schopenhauer, Hegel, and then further. I'm coming from 400, 500 BCE, okay? I've now come to 1800, okay? And then Arthur Schopenhauer, and then coming slowly to Americas, etc. You've got Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau, and then you have George Santayana, and then you have Ayn Rand, just 1900s. They're in the 20th century. We've come all the way from 500 BC to 20, in the 20th century, 1900s. So they learn all these things. For them, for Americans, philosophy originated from Greece. They consider Greeks as, because in America it doesn't exist. America didn't exist before 1600. You know, this Columbus came and discovered America. That is a big lie. Okay, that's a separate topic. Okay, but then, but Greeks were there long before Socrates. So they decided, let's make friends with Europe. After all, we're all Europeans, British people. So they said we can't divorce ourselves from Europe. And the Greeks did some great things. So let's own up with the Greeks. And so Greeks are the source of philosophy for us. That's how they are taught. They're taught like that. And so the philosophy students in America, what they do is they will spend a few months in Greece. They will send part of the course, whether it is bachelor's or master's, whatever. They have to spend some time. They have to go to the Parthenon, and then they will be told, look, imagine you are sitting and studying under Socrates. How will it be? Go and experience it yourself. They do that kind of a training. Look at that. Look at how America thinks. They want it to be a genuine learning experience. I don't have to go to Kaladi. But I'm studying a lot of Shankaracharya. Morning, evening, I'm studying his Bhashya. But I need not have visited Kaladi. Our thing is little different. I can go to Kaladi any number of times. But the training is not, that's not the way they think. In India, they don't think like. So, optional. It's a subject, optional. Okay. What about us? Is it optional? Darshana? Guess what? It's not optional, my dear friends. Our ancestors lived it. And we may have lost touch with all these things, Bhagavad Gita and all. My goodness, not even ancestors, our grandparents and maybe great grandparents for sure, they were all experts in the Shastra. They were all experts. And my own great grandparents were sannyasis, 4, 5 sannyasis. We have our adhishtanams in the villages near Kumbakonam. Every year they do aradhana. So sannyasi means what? They were following that lifestyle. grahastha, ashrama, then whatever, sorry, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. They just walk away. My father used to tell me, they used to just say at some point, they'll say, they're leaving. I'm leaving. That's it. They'll go to Kashi. Those days, going to Kashi means that's it. You have to say goodbye. How they are going, nobody knows. It's not like you, Vande Bharat. No, Vande Bharat and all. So that was the life they led. Okay. Optional versus life or death. Life or death. This is it. If my Acharya was Ramanuja Acharya, I live it. I'm a Vishishta Advaiti and I live that life. Either study, possible, I'll teach it also, but that's, I live that life. Okay. Okay, that's one difference. One difference. Number two, secular. Philosophy is secular. They may talk about God, but it's all in the secular framework. Correct? Yahan par, in India, nothing is secular. Do you know why? Because Bhagavan is all pervasive. Prahalada, Tudili Mirpan, Turubuli Mirpan, like that in Tamil we say. Bhagavan is there, Vishnu is there in this pillar, Vishnu is there in this small blade of grass. Therefore, everything is pervaded by Bhagavan. Therefore, nothing is secular. That is why you step on a piece of paper, you have to. There is no Indian who will not do like this. And in America, if you do this in front of Americans, you know what they'll say? Hey, what did you do just now? They'll ask that question. It's amazing. What did you do just now? And then you have to explain, what do you mean, what did I do? You stepped on something and you did something like this. Oh, now I have to suppose to explain. I don't even know how to explain because nobody taught me all these things. How to explain, they didn't teach me. How to practice, they taught me. Then I have to say something like she's Saraswati and God and goddess of knowledge and all. I have to say something. Therefore, secular, completely not. There is no idea of secularism. In fact, this idea of secularism is new to Indians. Indians are almost confused when you bring up this topic of secularism. Even you go to the village and ask him, "Arey, Bhagavan kahan par hai?" You know how he will respond? Bhagavan kahan par nahi hai. That's how he will respond. He'll respond with a question. Where is he not? He will say. So even that person knows this. Okay. Okay. So this is second difference. First difference is what? Optional. Second difference, life or death. You have to live it. Second difference, secular versus non-secular. Okay. Indians are all, in fact, religion originated from India. Everybody copied. Whatever little they understood, that little part they copied. Okay. And then next. And then philosophy. Now, if you look at any Western philosophy, if you look at Hume or Ralph Waldo Emerson, if you look at their works are all there. They have some idea about life, etc. Very serious thinkers, each of them has no doubt. And their work is there. Our work, it's all there. Acharya's works are there. Bhagavad Gita is there. Upanishads are there. Everything is there, all encoded. And guess what? There is a lady in one of the Sanskrit students. She's a teacher. Manjari. What's her name? I forgot her name. She's a teacher, Sanskrit teacher. She's got an award for memorizing the entire Bhagavad Gita. Entire Bhagavad Gita, 700 plus verses, she can memorize. There are kids who memorize like that. And the kids, you tell them, 5th chapter, 16th verse, what is it? They will say that. I saw once these competitions. And our Chinnajiyar Swamiji was there in Hyderabad. This is going on big. And the Jiyar Swamiji himself was just surprised. He said, this is Ishvara at work. They were all talking to each other, looking at each other and saying, my God, this is something else. So that difference number 3 is what? Indian philosophy, to use the word philosophy for now, is chantable. As children, we are taught to chant all these things. Whether you know it or not, you don't worry. Just learn the Mahabharata. Just be amazed by the story. And just imagine Krishna in a chariot and Arjuna in a chariot in the middle of a battlefield, and he taught this Bhagavad Gita. So you just imagine all this. And Bhagavad Gita has gone inside. And later on, he goes around the world And America, France, Europe, Switzerland, and all that. Finally, he comes back 50 years, middle age crisis. Middle age crisis? Why? What crisis? What happened? Oh, too many responsibilities. I'm working in an MNC, family, married, children. We don't know when children are coming home, when they are leaving home, what they are doing. Suddenly, they're coming with one earring and this and that. And jeans, one side is tall, other side is torn, with as though some rats have done some job in the night. And this father and mother don't know what's going on. Crisis. Crisis. What crisis? You got a great job, this, that. No, no, it's just I don't know how to handle all these things. Okay. Then that Bhagavad Gita that had gone in when he was 7 years old slowly comes out. Slowly comes out. Right. That's how it's supposed to be. So, chantable versus it's just another prose, some text, something that you have to study and understand. Very big difference it is. And it's just such an amazing thing about our culture, right? Chanting, just you can imagine. I saw somebody sent a video where in schools in London, they're all chanting Nirvana Shatkam. What is this? Oh, is there a thing called Nirvana Shatkam? I see. I'm so ashamed. They're chanting it. I don't know what it is. Who wrote it? Adi Shankaracharya. Oh, I heard that word somewhere. This is how we are all coming into this. Okay. Everything is new. Every Indian thing is new. Okay, chanting. And then, of course, we like this, there are so many differences. And of course, our thought process is highly well developed, highly refined, and then all the means. Okay, if you ask how do okay, this is so profound. How can I study this? Okay, there is a method to study that. There is a sampradaya. So many different yogas are there to prepare yourself first. Prepare yourself. Loosely called karma yoga, then jnana yoga. All these things, every sampradaya has their own way of teaching. Okay, and you have to follow. You have to be part of the sampradaya. Which is not new. Sri Rama is going to come up January 22nd. He himself was born in a sampradaya. His father was a Vedika. Rama did not invent Sanatana Dharma. Rama was born in the family where Sanatana Dharma was the norm for ages. Ikshwaku Vamsha, like that, there is Valmiki writes. Putra Kameshti Yaga. They also had the same problems we are having. They also can't have children, it seems. That problem was there then also. Now also they're having problems like that. So anyway, so I want you to see that this darshana is not the same as philosophy because there are too many differences. When you call a darshana as a philosophy, I'm grossly simplifying what I'm about to study. Correct? What I'm a part of. I'm a product of this darshana. And I have simplified all that by using the word philosophy. Okay, no, you can't. It's philosophy, at least in the US, you can study in philosophy departments. Here in our universities, there is no such thing called. There may be philosophy department, and unfortunately, they'll be teaching Western philosophy in those. You won't find a Ramanuja department, Shankaracharya department, Madhvacharya department, Patanjali department. Okay, Gautama Sankhya, Kapila, all this will not be there. I used to imagine when I used to go in the airport, you see all these rooms. I used to imagine, I wish there was a Panini room. All it be Panini room. People have these lounges. They have all these lounges in the airports. And how will it be if you have a Panini room or Patanjali's meditation hall, something like that? It will be different. So that's okay. That's there. So I want you to see that these two are two different things. We don't want to simplify what we are doing by using these words called philosophy. All right. And this is another difference is because we are all are supposed to learn this properly through a sampradaya and understand what is being said. You can't keep saying Sanskrit is difficult and all that. No, it's not. That is not an excuse. Our Indians will not accept it as an excuse. You can't say Sanskrit is difficult. Hey, how your father found it easy and you're finding it difficult? How's that? What kind of a son you are? They will say. So go to your father and beg him to teach you Sanskrit. So we are supposed to learn all this and assimilate all that, okay, and understand all. Okay, that is why. And here, the religion, if you look at religion, not philosophy per se, religion. Here, the religion, you're supposed to believe a lot of things. Here also, we believe a lot of things. A lot of beliefs are there in our dharma also, no doubt. Here also, a lot of beliefs are there. But you know what? Here, beliefs only, and here what? There is beliefs, plus you have to understand all this also. There's a lot of understanding along with the beliefs. That is why you find that people call these Hindus as seekers. Have you wondered that? Seekers. In America, they don't call Christians as seekers. You know what they're called? They're called what? Christians are called what? They're called believers. Believers. When I got a job after doing my master's PhD, I got a job, I worked for a big company. And my manager, Deborah, she asked me one day, suddenly out of the blue, she asked, Jay, what is your faith? I used to go by Jay. You know, all the Jayakumar and all too big for them. They can't pronounce all that. So I just tell them, you can call me Jay, and then they're happy. So, Jay, what is your faith? I was taken aback, really. You know why? Because nobody asked me that question before, first of all. Secondly, oh, I belong to a faith. Is that word itself is new to me? First, religion, at least if you say, I can accept it. I say, I'm a Hindu and all I can say. But faith, she said. Oh, you know why she says faith? Because believers, what is being said is to be believed. Therefore, it is a faith. Sure, we can call our dharma also. A lot of beliefs are there. It can be called faith also. But we don't call it faith. We call it dharma. Because it is to be lived and there's a lot to understand. Our acharyas have broken their heads on these things. And so that's another huge difference. Believers versus seekers. What seekers of what? Seekers of knowledge. Seekers of knowledge. You don't believe in knowledge. Suppose I say, what is 2 plus 3 is equal to what? 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, you say. I ask you, do you believe that 2 plus 3 is 5? Or do you know that 2 plus 3 is 5? Or ask you, what will you say? Nareshji is laughing, smiling. Nareshji, what would you say?
I believe.
You believe that 2 plus 3 is 5.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. You won't say, I know 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay,
No,
any other answers? Any other answers? Chaitra, Sundaresh Iyer, Rama Venkatesh. Any other
Yes,
answer?
I know 2 plus 3 is 5.
Okay.
Because I can prove it.
How will you prove it?
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. See, I was just looking for that answer also. 2 plus 3 is 5. No, I believe it because my teacher told it in class, and I used to write 10 times. Those days we used to write all this, 1 times 2, 2, 1 times 3, 3, all these tables and all we used to write. My teacher used to make me write all this. And we used to, oh, my teacher told me this, therefore I believe. Versus, no, I know 2 plus 3 is 5. I can prove it. Come on, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. Here are 2 pens. And I know how to count. Do you know how to count? Yes, I know how to count. Okay, so I don't have to teach you how to count. And therefore, look at this. These are 2 pens. All right, let's put 2 pens there. How many pens are these? These are 3 pens. Okay, I put 3 pens here and I put 2 pens there. Now let's start counting. Okay, and then there you go, 5 pens. I proved it. Like Chaitra said, I can prove it. Okay. Now, point I'm trying to make here is there is something called belief, and then there is something called knowledge. Knowledge is that cannot be refuted, that cannot be negated. That is true because that's the way it is. An axiom. 2 plus 3 is 5 is an axiom. I can't decide one day I'm a great acharya and therefore I will make 2 plus 3 is equal to 4. And you believe me because I'm a great acharya. If I say, what will you say? You have to say, you may be a great Acharya, but I can't take 2 plus 3 as 4. That's not negotiable. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5 is not negotiable. We can negotiate on many other things, but not on that. That's what you will tell me. That's what you will tell me. Or somebody comes and says 2 plus 3 is 4.99. Chaitra, what will you say?
Well, I might say that the instrument which you're using to measure, there is some error in that. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking.
Right. Yes, that's good. I have to think. That's how I want all of you to think along these lines. These are all very critical things. There is a big wall between belief and knowledge. Okay? Knowledge is vastu tantram. Means what? Means what? Suppose I show you this. Okay? I'm going to show you something. Okay? I'm going to show you this. What is this? What is this?
Bhagavad Gita.
It's a book. It's a book. Right? It's a Bhagavad Gita book. Why don't you say it is an apple? It's an apple. Why don't you say it's an apple? You have freedom, right? You have freedom of choice. You're a free person. You only chose to register for Haripriyaji's course, not knowing who is Haripriya, not knowing what is this Ashaseva Kendra, nothing. You simply signed up. God only knows what you're going to get, but you signed up. Free will, choice is there, and you signed up. Why don't you use that choice to say that this is an apple? Guess what? Guess what? Who decides this is a book? Who decides?
Our mind decides.
Who decides this is a book?
Maybe it's attributes. The attribute of a book is different from that of an apple.
Correct. Attributes of a book is different from apple. So who decides this is a book?
The attributes, right? Or what we have been taught.
Or in short, the object decides what the object is. To make it simpler. I don't want to get into that kind of detail about attributes. The book, this object decides what this object is. In the sense, decides in the sense, not that it's deciding. This object is what it is. I don't have a choice to decide what this object is. That's all I want. Despite all this free will that I have, we say humanity, freedom, and this, we talk so much about freedom. That freedom doesn't apply. Does not apply when it applies to an object. When you're talking about an object, you have to go along with the object. You have to go along with the object. That is why when you're cooking here in the kitchen, you do stuff. And guess what? You can't decide how the salt is going to taste. Salt's taste is decided by that salt itself. You can decide how much of salt to put in your masala or in your kheer or in your whatever you're making. Dal. You have choice only in deciding how much quantity to put, but you don't decide how these things taste. In fact, you can't even decide what the final outcome is going to be. Your family members may be excited, happy after the meal, or they might say, everybody might be lining up outside the restaurant. We don't know. We don't know how it's going to come out, despite your best efforts, correct? Therefore, the point I'm trying to make here is what? This belief and knowledge is a very important topic. Friends, we have to slowly dissect, we have to dig into this idea of belief versus knowledge. Okay, knowledge. So here, what is the knowledge here? Here the knowledge is that this, what I'm holding in my hand is a book. That's all, simple knowledge. We're talking about some simple knowledge. I hold something like this in front of you. You can't say this is a book. You can't decide what this is. If I ask you what is this, there's only one correct answer to this. This is a pen, period. That's it. We can decide what kind of pen it is, this, that, etc. That's also fine knowledge again. Knowledge is vastu tantram. Means what? It is dependent on the vastu, on the object. Then suppose I say, you come home. I offer you several dishes. Come home and I offer you rice, roti, dal is there, sambar is there, because I live in Coimbatore and we can't live without sambar, yogurt, and all that. And so you have all these things there. The sambar is not made for you; it's made for me actually, but it's still available for you also. Okay, and so it's all there, and then sabji is there. Now I ask you, please help yourself. Now, you don't decide this is not dal, it is dal, this is yogurt, this is rice, this is roti, all that, they are all decided. You can't decide what that is. At best, you can say, can I have a glass of water, please? Okay, I'll give you a glass of water. I'm sorry, I should have gotten it before itself. At best, you can say, okay, I'll have one roti, I'll have this much rice, and I'll have these things. Okay. That is your choice. That is your choice. What you're going to have is your choice. What's available is not your choice. So where does choice apply? Choice applies in action. Free will applies in action. Action means what? Whatever we do from the moment we get up till the moment we sleep is all a series of actions. That action depends on free will. Free will. That's where free will applies. You can do it one way, you can do it differently, or you need not do it. This is called kartum shakyam, anyatha kartum shakyam, or akartum shakyam. That's your choice. That is free will. Free will does not apply when it comes to 2 plus 3 is equal to what? Question mark I put in front of it. There your free will does not apply. At best, your free will can apply to understand. You can say, I don't know what 2 plus 3 is. Okay, fine. We can learn. There your free will applies. But your free will does not decide what 2 plus 3 is. Okay? So why I'm saying all this? There is something called knowledge and there is something called belief. Then what is belief? Can you define belief for me? Yeah. Belief, we can give a temporary definition. Belief is that which I consider as true despite lack of evidence. Just think about that definition for a moment. Belief means that which I consider as true despite lack of complete evidence. Means what? Now I can ask you some questions. Suppose I have come here. I'm speaking in front of you. You've taken the time out of your busy day. You've come here thinking what? Thinking that this session is going to be useful to me. Thinking that, believing that. Correct? You have a belief. You believed Haripriya Ji by she sent a note saying, please come to the session without fail. Oh, without fail. What is this? And so you believed her and you come to the session without fail. Now, whether this session is going to be of any value for you or not, nobody can say. So you can say, no, I believe that the session will be good. And so I've come. Belief. At the end of the hour, you can say, you know what? It was a waste of my time. You can say that. Why? Because now you have evidence. Previously, there was no evidence. Now you have 1 hour's worth of evidence. Okay, after evidence, belief can be converted to knowledge. Yes, this session was excellent. That's a statement. That's not a belief anymore. You started with belief, but now you have some knowledge about this session. All right? Just a definition I gave you. So now, there are beliefs in Western philosophies, Western religions. There are beliefs in our dharma also. Lot of beliefs we have. Punyam and Papam belief. There is not a single Indian who does not know about Punyam and Papam. Deeply entrenched belief. And how do you know that Punyam and Papam exists? Somebody has to unmute and say something.
Yeah, because we have learned that from childhood from our parents or other generations. What is right and what is wrong, and what will give you correct action phalam, karma phalam, and what will not.
What will not? What will not? Why did our parents say that?
Well, they must have either firstly learned from their parents and then experimented in their life, their elders.
Fair enough. Fair enough. They experimented, and but then what is punyam? Can anybody prove punyam and pap? Let me
Well,
ask you.
there is simple,
Yeah.
simple proof when you do something and if that something happens according to your pre-pondered expectation, then you say it's my punya that things were worked out for me. when you do something and if that something works out in the way you actually expected it to, then you'll say it's my punya, it worked out. That means
Because so many things can go wrong. So many things can go wrong. There is always a slip between the cup and the lip, they say. And so, therefore, you're so happy that things actually worked out. Correct. So, that is it's a my punyam. But my question is a little more difficult than that. How can you prove punyam? Means what? If I go tomorrow, if I go out and, okay, once I was in the street, all of us have done this. Once I was in the street and there was a person who was asking for something like this. That person sounded like, he was a very respectable person. He was in good dress and all, but he was still saying, he was in tears. He said, I've not eaten today and it's going to rain. I have no idea what's going to happen to me. Like that, he said in a very respectable voice. And I think he was not just a. So I felt that he didn't say all that. He just did this. I gave him 50 rupees. He was having tears in his eyes. He said all these things. He said, I didn't eat anything and it's going to rain also. And I was wondering what's going to happen to me. You came like God and gave me this. Like that, he said. Okay. Now, this is the situation. Our Shastram will say that I'm going to get some punyam out of because of this action. Correct? Yes or no? Yes. What is the proof? What's the proof?
One way to say the proof is that we have read this in our scriptures. You do good to others, and that is considered as punya, where you will get it back in some manner in this birth or the next birth or next birth or whatever.
Okay.
We have read it.
Okay. So, Nareshji, what's your degree in? What's your degree in?
I am MSc Physics and Defense Studies.
The MSc Physics Defense Strategist. Okay. MSc Physics. Okay. So, now tell me, in physics, you've studied so much physics. And you've got to prove a lot of statements. And the little physics I studied in school and all the mechanics and all that is there. And all the stress, strain, all these relationships and all we've studied, right? So there's all that. Now, have these things to be proved? Are they unproved stuff that we studied or proved things we studied?
We studied, the science is all proven. Otherwise,
Science is all proven.
hypothesis doesn't become a principle.
Look at that. Science is all proven. The minute you mention the word science, it means it's proven. They are not going to sit and teach whatever the teacher thinks and feels. No, that is not what a physics teacher will do. It's all proven stuff. How did they prove all those things, sir?
Through observations, experiments.
Through measurements and observations. Measure, observe, make notes, and draw a line. It's a recurved line, this line, quadratic, everything, find out, and then repeatability must be there. Then an axiom is formed. Laws of motion is there. Every equation we study is been proved. No scientist will accept a statement without proof. Correct? Physics there's no better example than physics.
Raman effect, for example, sir. C.V. Raman, he saw the spectrometry output, and that's how it was Raman effect. He got a Nobel Prize for that. Or Bohr model of atomic theory. All these are observables.
They are observable. Even though Bohr model, atomic model, my God, we have not seen the atom, but those days itself he is talking about atoms. Can you imagine all this? What all they've done? How the mind works? And so observable, even the atom, all the Bohr's, Niels Bohr and all this Schrodinger's equation and all, provable.
Absolutely.
I'm
But now
asking,
we are coming back to Vedantic philosophy.
now my question is observable, provable, observability, provability, repeatability, all that is what creates an axiom, which is what makes you teach it for others, learn it, understand it, then teach it. My question is now back to Punyam and Pap. Can Punyam be proved? Simple question I'm asking. Please answer the question.
Mahodaya, Jaita has a question, I think. She has raised hand.
Oh, yeah, sure. Jaita, please.
Sir,
Because
can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Actually, sir, I'm driving, so I've put the video off. So, but I can speak.
If you are driving,
Actually, sir,
if you are driving, you should be talking and concentrating on this. It's
no,
not
I'm
safe.
just you are on my holder on the. I'm not actually. I'm at a safe distance from the phone. But basically, sir, what I just wanted to say that science being proven and science just there I'd actually raised my hand and just to say that that's actually not 100% true because it all of the science occurs in a very because I studied mathematics myself and there again theories etc are built in a given framework. As soon as you go outside the framework it doesn't apply anymore. So to say that science itself there are many there's a lot of, let's say, slips between the cup and the lip. It's not really to say that it is universally true. Certain conditions you change and it will not be true anymore. So even in mathematics, that does happen.
Good point.
So
Excellent point. Excellent point. Point well taken. And so there are limits, there are boundaries. There are boundaries within which certain axioms work. Outside the boundaries, you got to go and do some more work and then expand your understanding to come up with new laws or extension of the existing laws, whatever the case may be. But you're right. That I used to remember they used to say in America, if you drink those days, I remember 1980s, because I used to read a lot of magazines those days. I used to follow the newspaper a lot. Coffee, they used to say a coffee a day will keep your heart healthy. Then they changed, no, that's not true. Then they came back and said, no, that's true. Science, this is all science. But science is willing to correct itself. They're agreeing that, okay, I may be wrong. Because they want to invent stuff and do stuff like that, and so things can go wrong. They constantly.
May I comment on Jaita's point, if you permit?
Please do.
Yes. See, there are certain laws which are visible to even a naked eye, and they cannot be disputed, despite any environment that you have. For example, the law of gravity. We know everything falls from top to bottom. There's nothing like going from bottom to top, which is observable. So it's irrespective of the environment, like Jaita was saying. And now I'll give another example. The God particle, so to say, Higgs boson. We know Higgs boson. Higgs boson has been predicted by Higgs many years back, but nobody could prove it till 2011 when the experiments were done in CERN near Geneva, Center for Electronic Research Laboratory. You know that I have been to CERN in Geneva. So they have massive accelerators. That is what I'm just trying to compare Jaita's point. Now there she is right, because they were all the time thinking there is a glue which enables weight to be created in the mass to be created in the universe, and the glue was not able to be traced. Finally, with the accelerometers, with the all the magnetrons that are lying there, and the magnetic field tremendously created, where they accelerated the particles to the speed of light. So they were able to break it, and I saw it on the screen also that when the impact takes place, the particles come and they were able to identify this is Higgs boson or God particle, as they say. Now, this is where Jaita's point again becomes relevant, because it is based on the conditions and the environment that is created to observe that. Outside the laboratory, it can't be observed. But gravity is something universal which everybody can observe all the time. That's all.
Fair enough. See, even if you look at the science of weather prediction.
Nareshji, I think,
Yeah, Jaitaji, go ahead.
just to add just to add to what Nareshji said, I think what what I was meaning to say is that our knowledge is quite finite, and that includes the area of science. So as soon as new information comes through, you realize that the old framework was inadequate, and that will keep happening forever because human knowledge is always, it's finite. For one, we can't see everything and all the parameters because that's what is divine knowledge, no? Otherwise we wouldn't need. But sir, I wanted to ask about the punyam and papam, the thing that you said, no, how do you know it is true? So I think the real proof is how you feel inside. You are the proof of that. So when you do a good thing, like when you help someone and you see the joy on their face, you know that this is something, you actually don't do it to receive that punya. You have done it because how you felt. And I feel that, but you know that at the end of it, you know that, yes, this is something which is good. It's a good action. That's all. I mean, it's how you feel inside. You wouldn't have a concrete proof.
So fair enough. So two things. Okay, we are coming back to punya. Science, we discussed science, etc. We understood that it is you need provabilities. Things have to be proved to some extent at least. And say, yeah, at least people should say, yeah, based on the limited knowledge we have, I think this seems to be true. That is also okay. And then based on that, life is led and research happens, etc. etc. We accept that. And it's constantly changing. What we know is limited. All those good points you've made. Now come back to punyam. Why I said all this? To come back to punyam, is punyam provable is the question. Like all the things in science have been proved. That is the question, right? Now, when I help somebody, I feel good. I shared it with you because I remember it, and I remember it because I felt good. So it is not something I'm going to easily forget. Okay. Therefore, it's that I felt good about it. Now, yeah, I felt good about it. That's also true. That's true, very much true. But that is not punyam. What is punyam? I'm going to now define what punyam is. Listen to this. Every action done by a human being, the Shastram says, has two kinds of results. One is called Drishtaphalam. Now coming back to Sanskrit words, Drishtaphalam means a result that I can see myself, I can experience myself. That is Drishtaphalam. And the other is part two of the result of this action is what? Adrishtaphalam. Adrishta by definition is that which is not seen, which will accrue to me sometime later, either in this life or some other life. That is called punyam. If it is good, pleasant, that's punyam. If it is going to be unpleasant, it's called papam. Now, so I've now given you a definition of punyam and papam. Punyam by itself means it's not observable. The minute I say punyam is not observable, it falls outside the realm of science. Can I say that? Can I say punyam falls outside the realm of science? Is that statement acceptable? You can speak up.
I don't think so, sir.
You don't think so. You don't think what?
That it falls outside the purview.
Okay, all right. And so what you're saying is, it is possible for me to prove that punyam exists. That's what you're saying, I think. Correct?
Yes, sir. I don't know how, but my mind says it is possible. At the moment I have to accept it because somehow my mind says it is possible to prove it. But
okay, so
I have to think over how to.
You have to think it over. I want you to think it over. But for in the interest of time and other things, I'm going to move on. I'm going to make a bold statement. You can come back and disagree with me later. I'm going to say that because punyam means adrishtaphalam, a result that will accrue to me at some future time. Like, for example, somebody came and said, what happened? You're shaken. What happened? He says, you know what? I just a bus came and I could feel the bus go against me. Like I could feel the edge of the bus. The bus missed me just hardly by this hair length. hair width, whatever. I could have died today, he comes and says, some punyam saved me. That's what he says. Okay. This is typical language we use. All Indians say this. Okay. Some punyam saved me. Now, if I ask him, what actions that you did in the past, good actions which produce punyam, produce that punyam which saved you today, if I ask him, what will he say? What kind of question you're asking? What are you asking? No, we can't. Why? That's the way it is. Punyam is adrishtam. It will fructify. You can say, oh my God, this has to be punyam. That aspect you can say, because I could have died today. There's no reason for me to come home like this in one piece. Therefore, there is something that worked in my favor. And we call it, Shastram says it is punyam. If Shastram doesn't say, there's no way we can come to know about it. That's why in Western religions, Abrahamic religions, there is some idea of punyam, no doubt, but not the way we have quantified it. Not the way we have quantified. Our idea of punyam is very elaborate, very, very elaborate. But anyway, that punyam, you can't connect. When you cannot connect the cause and effect, there is an effect and the cause have to be connected. Science has to see both. Science has to see the cause and the effect. Then a law is made. Punyam is adrishtam. It is drishtam later. At a later time, it will come and help me out. Papam will hurt me at a later time. That's why I can't get away. I can get away from the law, but not from the law of punyam and papam. That is what the Shastram says. Anyway, so we are just making the statement. I mean, you can think it over. Anyway, I'm watching the clock. It's about 5 minutes to 9. We've been at it now for almost an hour, okay? I didn't plan to go beyond an hour. I wanted to have a discussion, so at least we can have an engagement. I see, I quit my job when I was 52 years old. In 2015, I quit. From that day on, PowerPoints, forget. I've not used a PowerPoint. No, none of my talks have PowerPoints. No, I'm not saying you should not use, but I don't use PowerPoints. But I did use some time ago. Just 3 weeks ago, there was this Chartered Accountants, Indian Chartered Accountants Association or something. There is this national association. They invited me to give a talk on stress management. I was getting stressed out when they invited me for this talk. I didn't want to talk about stress management. Hey, I'm really stressed out. If you have any ideas, please tell me. And I looked through entire Bhagavad Gita to see if Krishna is talking about stress. I don't know. I have to somehow make some connections. Anyway, there I showed some PowerPoints. My PowerPoints are all full of pictures. Picture. I show them a picture. Then I make them come up with an answer from that. Yeah. Anyway, so we've spoken for an hour now. And so far, just to summarize what we've discussed so far, is one thing that we got from that. And that is, there is a huge difference between what the West calls philosophy, or the English word philosophy, and our Sanskrit word darshana. I hope you're able to see that. Okay. There is punyam and papam here. There is no punyam papam there at all. This is religious, that is secular. Huge differences. Therefore, we can't allow ourselves to be, as people who are studying darshanas, I'm telling you, I won't talk like this in some other audience, right? I don't need to talk and others won't understand what I'm. That is why in my classes, I will not use the word fate for karma, because karma is not fate. I will not use the word God when I'm talking about Ishvara and Bhagavan, because God and Bhagavan are two different things. God is a Western concept. It's a biblical concept referring to a particular entity. God the Father and the Son, Jesus, etc. There is a particular lineage there. Okay. And God is in that heaven. But my God is everywhere. If my God is all pervasive, how can I use the word God, which is already been used up, to mean something else? So I don't use that word at all. Well, occasionally we can use the word, just a conversation, casual conversation. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. So like this, I can't mix and match these statements. Devata is a most amazing concept in our culture. Devata, the archetype. You look at the water systems, rainwater systems, rain, and the entire process ecology surrounding the production and movement of water on earth and anywhere else in this universe, that is called Devata, and that Devata is called Varuna Devata. There is no such concept in the West. So the more we understand our own dharma, the more you realize, my God, I've been using English words as though, because I'm trained to think in English, because I'm also helpless. I was trained in English on Hindi. I studied in Hyderabad. So I know Hindi, Telugu, English. English was the main thing. I can't talk. I cannot give lectures in Tamil, even though it's my mother tongue. I cannot, because I just grew up in English. But I know enough to say, यहाँ पर जो है ईश्वर को रहने दो, ईश्वर ही रहने दो. I am not going to reduce the status of Ishvara by calling him God, especially when we are talking in a forum like this. Okay, and so
Guruji, that's why in Yoga Shastra, Patanjali says, Ishvara Pranidhanadva.
Yeah, why does he say that?
Because devotion, Ishvara Pranidhanadva is, it is only with Ishvara that you will be able to develop a one-pointed concentration of your mind. That is the reason, nothing else. That's why he says that one-pointed concentration is Ishvara and nothing else. Ishvara Pranidhanadva.
Ishvara Pranidhanatma. Wow. Correct. So now somebody can argue, somebody will just to nitpick, he might say, Patanjali lived 3,000 years ago or 2,500 years ago. That time they did not know English. Just to nitpick, somebody might come and say that. If he knew English, he would have written something in English. Is it not possible to write a sutra in English? Suppose somebody argues with you. What will you say? You don't want to get into that. It's a waste of time. So we are saying that, hey, our idea of Ishvara, you show me your idea of God, I'll show you my idea of Ishvara. Let's compare it. It will be very obvious that they are two different ideas. Let them be different. And I want to make sure my understanding of Ishvara is not contaminated by a Western framework that comes in. Because karma is not fate. Karma is not fate. Even though we've been told as a child, karma means fate. Hinduism is a fatalistic religion. You know what they say in the books? India is a poor country because Hinduism is fatalistic. People believe in Hinduism, which is fatalistic. Can you believe the books that are saying these things? Our children, our grandchildren are reading all these things. My goodness, it's a nightmare to be the amount of work we have to do, all of us have to jointly do to change the education system, to change the books, and how it makes that Indians, the books are written to make slaves out of Indians. Really, you look at all these books. Sorry to say those things, but many of the schools are like that. Yeah, Jayita ji, go ahead. Looks like you have returned home or something like that.
Yes, actually, I had to pick my son up. It is the school finishing time. So
Oh, okay.
I just quickly picked him up and brought him home and then back to my webinar.
Sure, go ahead.
So actually, I just wanted to say that for me, that personally, I feel that biggest difference between Western philosophy and way they view God, everything is materialistic there, right? Or there is a God which is outside. They do not view this as something which you turn inside. Here, like our Sanatana Dharma, the reason you're doing sannyasa is because you are going to focus inside. Now you will leave the material world behind and you will focus inwards. So that whole this thing that, and of course the fact that Ishvara is within you, or whatever it is, that supreme being, it is within you, it is existent, but you need to discover it for yourself by turning inwards. So that concept at all is not there in the Western way of approaching. They have all their judgment days and all that, you will go in as some sort of in a courtroom and you'll be judged, etc. And we have that. We do have some bit of judgment because all of that is there, right? That, but it is based on karma. What you have done punya, papa, etc. is being weighed, and based on that, something is happening. But that is still only an intermediate kind of thing. But the main thing is, it like you will rediscover, or you will discover God within yourself through whatever practices you are following, as sannyas, or even within grihastha as vanaprastha, etc. I mean, traditionally that was there. So that concept, I feel, it is so powerful. It's so powerful because it is not something outside of you. You are discovering something which is within you, which is unique and powerful to our way of thinking.
Good point. Good observation, right? Good observation. This whole idea that perhaps there is a big connection between this jiva. Let's now use the word jiva. Okay, I'm not going to use word soul, because soul is, do you know why soul is not jiva? Jiva is not soul. Do you know why? A simple reasoning. Can you give? There are two words. In English, there is a word called soul, S-O-U-L. In our dharma, we have jiva, referring to the self. Often they translate jiva as soul, S-O-U-L. Why would I not translate jiva as soul? Any ideas? I'll give you an idea. In the Western idea of life, human beings have souls, animals do not have souls. Plants do not have souls. Therefore, I can kill animals as much as I want. Look at that. Look at how one religion talks about life and the world and the cosmos. And here is another dharma that says, Jiva, you are a Jiva. This cow is also a Jiva. That mosquito is also a Jiva. And the plant is also a Jiva. And guess what? Next birth, you can be any of these. 4. Soul is not there in the cow. Soul is not there in the mosquito. Soul is not there in the plant. In the mango tree, there's no soul. Sorry, you keep your idea with yourself. I will retain my word jiva. And so I will use the word jiva. So coming back to Jaita's point, this idea that the jiva and Ishvara, all along, all religions say jiva is here. Where is God? Everybody is looking up. You know, in a school, the teacher asked the children, how do you find out if there are any Hindus in the class? Just ask them, where is God? So many children are pointing up. A few children are pointing like, I don't know if you can see my hand, but let me use it. Okay? They're pointing to self. God is here. This God is here, only Indians will say. Only tribal people will say. Indians and tribals who have not been converted yet, they will say, God is here in the earth. God is in the water. God is in the wind. God is what is giving me all the food. God is in the food. This is the language they will use. But the Western and Abrahamic religions are all, God is out there. I am out here because He created the world. The world cannot be God, because He created the world. The creation can't be God, Creator has to be different from the creation. That's a Western idea. Yahan par totally different hai. Even though we also have that same idea also. But the master plan, master idea is what? This Ishvara did not created. The word creation itself is problematic. It's problematic because it creates a separation between the creator and the created world. Correct? And therefore, we give up the word creation. We will use the word srishti. And why is the word srishti important? It's important because I can talk of a creation, a srishti. Now I can't use the word creation. I can talk of a srishti which is not separate from the creator. For example, I ask you the question, did you dream yesterday? Or in the last 1 week, did you have a dream? Yes, I dreamt. Suppose you say, who is the creator of the dream? Dream world, not simply dream. Dream is not an ordinary thing. The whole world is there when you're sleeping. You created the mountains, you created the people, you created the vehicles, you created a planet, even the moon you created. And you created the mountain, you created the lion, and you created the mountain lion also. And the dog also is chasing you. Who created this dream world, my dear friend? Who created it? Well, my neighbor did not create it. Neither, if we had a husband or wife, no, he or she did not create this dream world because she had a separate dream, her own dream, which is entirely different from my dream. And so I created this dream. It's very obvious. All right. I created the dream. And then what? Where did you get the material to create the dream, my dear friends? Did you have to borrow the material? The mountains that you created? My God, I have to create a mountain. I need so many tons of clay and stones, and then I need to put some seeds and they have to grow and they have to become big trees, I have to wait a long time. How much time did you wait to create all these things? Nothing. Instantly, it all came. From where it came? It is all there. The material is right here, waiting to come. It's all there. My own experiences, my own memories, my own fears, my own anxieties, my own ambitions, all mixed together. One masala chutney is made, and then suddenly the dream world comes. Okay. I am the creator of the dream world. I am the material of the dream world. And guess what? Is the dream world separate from me? Like they say, God is separate from the created world. No, the dream world is not separate from me. Please understand, this is a very important example. Actually, in the Shastram, we use it a lot. It's an example where the creation, let's say, the creation is not separate from the creator. That is where Jayata's point comes to being. Therefore, there is a whole thought process that says God created the world, but it is not like you created, your children created a drawing. The son comes, Mom, look, what did I do? Mom says, wow, you did this? Yes, I did it. At this rate, you're going to be a great artist. Do you know that? Really, Mom? Yes. The created product is different from the creator. This is only creation we know. We don't know of any other creation. And so we project that idea of creation on the creation by Ishvara of this Jagat. Shastram says, sorry, my dear friends, stop. That's childish. The children are told, yeah, God created this world, etc. But as I grow up, I'm supposed to think through this idea of creation. And there are statements, Mahavakyam in the Upanishad that says, Tat Tvam Asi. You are Ishvara, Jiveshvara, Aikyam is talked about. Which Abrahamic religion talks about Jiveshvara, Aikyam? You go talk about Jiveshvara, Aikyam, they will issue an order to behead you. That's it over. That's it over. Game is over. Yahan par the game starts now. The game starts now. So Jayata's point is well taken. When this Dharma talks like this, then now we are challenged to say, go figure it out. What is the difference between me and Ishvara? Difference is very obvious. He is the creator of the whole world. I have 2 children I created. That's all I can put in my resume. And I created some friction. And I created some hard feelings also. This is all I can put in my resume. What else can I put? Okay, I helped a few people along there. Great. What is the connection between this puny little jiva and this Jagat Karanam, Karta, Ishvaraha, Bhagavan? So it is not as simple as that. As simple as that. So that Tattvamasi Mahavakyam is there. That is what makes us do what Jayataji was saying. Going inward. Christianity will not offer all these things. They burned people at the stake. Even for a guy like this one, what's his name? Not Galileo, Bruno. Bruno said, no, this Earth is not in the center of the solar system. The sun is the center of the solar system. He was just burnt alive. Scientists, ask our Nareshji and others. Scientists burnt at the stake. They had what is called a list of prohibited books. Google that. You will be shocked. All along you're thinking all religions are identical and same and all that. Let's just clean our head from that idea. No chance. There's no connection between this dharma and any other religion. Really speaking. Really, I mean it. And so I don't actually, I didn't want to talk this long. I wanted to have a discussion. And I'll stop here. I want you to give some feedback. And that's enough. I'm not going to talk for more. Sorry, I keep saying that and keep on going. That's a habit. We people have a bad habit. Ramaji, no, she's smiling. She's sitting in my class, this poor thing, in a Bhagavad Gita class, a Kathopanishad class. He's writing notes also. And I keep going. But my classes are only 1 hour. I start at 6:30 in the morning. I stop at 7:30. That's it. So I can't talk for more than that.
Mahodaya, 6:30 in the morning, that is problem. I was thinking of asking, but it's going to be like very late in the night for me.
Where are you located, ma'am?
I am just London, like outside London. So
Outside London.
It's
Okay.
5.5 hours this difference. Like winter time is 5.5. So that's, but I occasionally see it on the YouTube because everything comes on the YouTube. So I'm able to see the lectures.
So tell me.
I was going to say, like those examples, like how gold, whichever form jewelry it is in, if it's a earring or a bangle, etc., it is gold. Like that is that Paramatma and Atma, right? Or a clay, which could be fashioned into any sort of like a pot or a vessel or a utensil, but inside it is clay. So that's how Ishvara is within us, and we are, the creator is the world. Even though the forms that they are taking, it appears to be taking, looks like different. But again, I guess saying this and living it, the Gyanis have actually lived it where they see it. Whereas I am reading it. So I can intellectually see it, but I don't see it like as a living truth.
Yeah, so we have a lot to study. So point is we are recognizing certain truths and we are slowly growing into it. And so we have to just advance our understanding of that. There is a beautiful methodology for all these things. So there is, what are the types of realities? Okay. False. Suppose I say something is false. Suppose I say true or false. True or false. When you drop a ball, it flies up. True or false? Nareshji will say, come on, don't tease us like that. We all have degrees, at least minimum bachelor's degrees we have. So don't ask us all these silly questions. Okay, but the point is, no, if you did you say flies up? No, it's false. On an average day, etc., there's no wind, etc., no object is simply going to fly. Maybe a feather will fly up, but a ball, you said a ball, literally a heavy ball, don't fly up, it will fall down. False.
In space, it works differently, Mahodaya.
There you go. There you go. Until we went to space, until we knew about it, now there's all kinds of Star Wars, this, that, every child also knows about space. And so we have to be careful talking to people. So in space, it's different. But just to give an example, on Earth, let's say in your home, if you drop a ball, let's make the example a little more specific. What will happen to the ball? Like that, if you say. Hopefully, nobody will say, I have a home in space also. And I hope they won't say that yet. Elon Musk is creating something there. So there is something called false. Means no, that's not true at all. True and false. Suppose I say, on a hot summer day, you're walking in the desert and you see some water. It's just a lot of water. Just you can see it. It's that silver line. out there. True or false? There's water out there. Then you will say what? Chaitra is about to say something.
Yeah, it could be either of it. It could be a mirage or there could be a pool of water. So
Correct. It could be a pool of water or it could be a mirage. If it is a mirage, if it's a pool of water, yeah, there is water. If it is really a mirage, then what? It's some kind of an illusion. It's an illusion. There's appearance of water, but really there's no water. Okay, and so there are those kinds of things which appear real, but they are not real. Something like we have to use we have to use these words. There's only two words: false and true. These are the only two words we have, or real and unreal, and something in between, something that is unreal that appears as real, or something that's real but appears unreal. These examples we have to do this analysis. The analysis is very beautiful, and we will come up with another type of reality. One type of reality is called mithya. False is one type of reality. Anritam in Sanskrit is called Anritam. Then there is Satyam, which is real. But this word real is inadequate for us. Inadequate. You know why? I'll tell you why. I'm going to say this and we'll stop. Okay? I'll tell you why. What is this?
clay pot. It's a clay pot.
It's a clay pot. It's a clay pot. Okay. All right. It's a clay pot. Now, what's the color of this pot? Something dark brown or something, reddish brown, let's say reddish brown. All right. What's the weight of this pot? The weight of this pot is, say, about 150 grams. 150 grams. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to ask you the question. There's a pot. Is there clay at all or no? Clay. Clay is also there, right? Clay is also there. Pot is also there.
No,
Both
it's
are
only
there.
clay. It's only clay.
Oh, now Naresh ji is coming up with the challenge. He's throwing a challenge at all of you. He's saying there's only clay. So all the people who said pot is there have to respond to Naresh. He's saying only clay is there. See, now this is what we say. Is what we say. He's saying only clay is there. You know why he says only clay is there? He's saying show me pot. I see clay. Inside I see clay. Underneath I see clay. Side, this side, every side I see clay. Oh, there's only clay. Where do you say pot? Where is pot? Can you show me pot, ma'am? Is
The
there
shape
another
is that of a pot.
Wow! Shape is that of a pot. Now you're making me think even more. Shape of the clay. Shape of what? Shape of pot is like a pot, or shape of clay is that like a pot?
I guess the clay has been shaped into a pot.
Okay. Clay has been shaped into a pot. All right. We are getting somewhere. Clay has been shaped into a pot. So clay became pot?
No, clay is clay, Mahodaya, but it's been shaped into a pot. That's all.
Oh, that's all. Clay continues to be clay. Clay has not changed at all. It continues to be clay. Before it was clay, now it is clay. Later on, when I crush the pot, clay continues to be there. So when was this pot born? Clay was there before. Clay was there before. Clay was there before. And then what? This pot
Clay
maker
will be there
was
after
shaping.
all.
The pot maker took a ball of clay, 150 grams of clay, put it on there, and then he was rotating it, and then he did that. Try making a pot. I'll tell you, you will run away from there. You will say, I'll rather do brain surgery. That's what you will say. Because you can't make a pot. Not possible. Very difficult. Anyway, so the clay was born. One fine moment, the clay was born. Pot continues to be. Wait, sorry, excuse me, I'm very sorry. Pot was born. Pot was born. Clay was there. The same 150 grams of clay is there right in front of you right now. But somewhere along the way, there was no pot, and then pot was born. It had a date of birth. Pot, which is separate from clay, was born. Another object called pot was born. Previously, there was only one object called clay. Now there is an object called clay and an object called pot. No. Chaitra will say, no, Mahodaya, I already told you, this clay only is there, and that clay is shaped like a pot. Now what Chaitra has done is, she has just, the status of the pot has dramatically reduced. Previously, pot was an object. It had color, it had weight and all that. Now, just a shape. She has made it into just a shape. If pot hears all this, if it had a mind, it will get angry with Chaitra. Who are you to reduce my status from an object which has a density, which has a weight, which has a color, which has a date of birth, and you're telling me I'm just a shape? Suppose somebody tells you, oh, another shape is what? That's an insult to a human being. Another shape is walking. Oh,
No,
another
it
character.
continues to have the attributes. It continues.
Huh?
No, it continues to have all those attributes, Mahodaya.
It means what? Now you can't say it.
The
He has
clay
not-
pot, the pot, though it's a pot, it's made of clay. The clay hasn't changed, but just transformed into a pot. That's all. It has its weight, dimensions, everything. You know, so
So the
So
clay.
if it
Yes.
falls, what happens? Is it pot or a clay?
it's the broken pot, clay pot.
No. That's where Jaita's point comes in. No, you're wearing a gold bangle or a necklace. Ultimately, it's gold because you may melt it immediately and back to gold. So the item is not there.
All women know very well. Why women? Men also know very well. Who am I to say women? All people know very well. When there is a golden chain on the neck, and there are bangles in the hands, and there are rings in the fingers, everybody knows the value of the jewelry is from the shape or it's from the content of the jewelry. Content. My eyesights are all on the content, and I want to make sure it is 20 carat, 21 carat, 22 carat, not some 16 carat, So the content may hai. And so the child knows this very well. The child is told the same thing here also. Pot and clay, jewelry and gold, bangle and gold. Bangle gold example is even better. The content, the value, the weight, the density, the quality, everything is provided by gold or bangle. Gold or bangle. It's provided by gold, obviously. Gold is the hero in this battle.
Costlies of gold.
It was the hero before, now it is hero. Later on, what? Oh, this is very old-fashioned. This was when we were married. When you married me, you gave it to me, okay, or I gave it to myself, okay, and it's 30 years old, and your mother-in-law, your mother didn't do anything. Everything I only gave. That's an argument between husband and wife, And so at least do something. At least help me by taking this bangle, giving it away, and I want the latest fashion bangle. Gold. Now she's ready to change the form completely into latest fashion. Gold continues to remain. Gold is the hero. Gold was, gold is, gold will always be. Bangle was not, bangle is, bangle will not be. That means what we are saying, our acharyas have said is, hey, the reality of bangle is coming and going. It's temporary reality. In fact, dependent reality, like Chaitra said, it is just a shape. The word just. Dependent reality. What about gold? Gold's reality does not depend on bangle. Bangle's reality depends on gold. Pot's reality depends on clay. Clay's reality and existence does not depend on pot. This is a huge step up. If I can say I understood this, that means there are two types of reality. I say pot is real. In English, there's only one word real. In Sanskrit, we have two words. Pot is mithya, clay is satyam. Satyam is that which whose existence is independent of anything, does not depend on anything. But mithya is that whose existence depends on something else. Okay. This is going to be the basis of the entire Shastra. Upanishad, you take Bhagavad Gita, you take Shankaracharya's works, you take. Now, this is not there in Vishishtadvaita. Okay, because Vishishtadvaita, everything is Satyam, everything is real. And so we'll talk more about that when the opportunity arises. But now you can see where we are going with this. We talked about belief versus knowledge. Vastu Tantram versus Purusha Tantram. Purusha Tantram means karma. Action emanates from me. I have free will. When I say free will, it only applies to my actions. Free will does not apply in deciding what the object is. And so we say Vastu Tantram. Knowledge is Vastu Tantram. 2 plus 3 depends on that particular law of mathematics. I can't decide what 2 plus 3 is. So we saw all that. And then we also talked about difference between Western philosophy and our dharma. Let's just keep the word dharma for now. Protect it. Protect the word dharma. Okay. And so we also said, okay, so we have to be careful translating all these English words. Careful. If I really understand the Sanskrit word, then I will be very constrained. I can't use, there is no English word available to translate these words. Karma, tell me what English word. The only English word available to translate karma is karma. Karma. Got it? Karma. That's the only English word that's there. So, with that, I want to stop and just, I took a lot of your time. It's 1.5 hours. And just give me some feedback. And I thank Haripriya ji for inviting me today. And there is a lot to discuss. And we haven't Uttara Mimamsa, she asked me to talk about. So we have one thing is I can't say I did not talk about Uttara Mimamsa because I already introduced certain concepts like Satyam and Vidya. It only in Uttara Mimamsa it will come. So she can't blame me. Mahodaya, what is this? You're talking about so many West East and all that, but where is Vedanta?
Mahodaya, so Satyam is something which is going to remain valid in any change, depending on, it's not dependent on anything. Independent of whatever circumstances, it will eternally remain truth. Like the sun rising, the sun has definitely risen. Like you can see the sun rising. So that is basically it can't be in any circumstances, it is still true. That is the sort of truth when you say Satyam, right? When you say Sanatana.
Correct. So therefore, we haven't even scratched the surface, but that's what I'm referring to, Satyam. Eventually, that's what we'll talk about. That which is the same regardless of time, regardless of space, and that which always is. Satyam Jnanamanantam Brahma. Taittiriya Upanishad Vakyam will come. That's Satyam. Which, by the way, is not different from Atma. Ooh, now we are talking something. Let there be a Satyam Brahma. So what is there? What's in it for me? No, don't say that. It is not some Satyam, some Brahma sitting somewhere. That Satyam is you. What do you mean by you? We have to talk about all that. Correct? So, it's a huge topic. Who am I is a very big topic. This who am I question is only peculiarly Indian. Nobody else will ask this question. Who am I? Long ago, 20, 30 years ago, there was in my department at Purdue University, there was a board. It's Swamiji so-and-so was giving a talk in Indianapolis called Who Am I? I did that and said, what? Who am I? I know who I am. Is there any doubt? I mean, no, this is not interesting at all. That's how I had said. Look at my karma. I went all over. Finally, ended up in that same Swamiji's ashram, and this is what this is called karma. Anyway, any thoughts, please? Any thoughts, please? Please share your thoughts.
I feel, sir, you started from basics, and when you talked about Satya and Asatya,
Okay.
so it is something like Brahma Satya and Jagat Mithya.
Okay.
False and yeah, that's where you ended.
Okay, fair enough. So already all you've heard these things: Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jagan Mithya.
Mahavakya.
Correct. That's where we are going with this. Any other thoughts? Nalini ji, where are you calling from?
From Bangalore only.
Okay.
Okay. I also thought Satyam also translates as that which is eternal. I thought that's also a definition of Satya.
Correct. So if you look at Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, there is a whole list of words starting from the 12th shloka. Ajo nitya shashvato yam puranaha na hanyate hanyamane sharire ajaha unborn nityam eternal shashvatam. Okay. Ajo nitya shashvato yam puranaha. Purana. You know what the meaning of Purana is? Not Purana, not the Hindi Purana. Purana. Purana means Pura eva navaha. The old is new. How can the old be new? You just told me it is old. How can it be new? They're opposites. Yeah. Some things that don't change at all. Like even values. Speaking the truth. You can't say the son comes and tells the mom, Mom, you guys speak truth and all. That's all old fashioned. Old fashioned? Oh, wow. You're a very advanced civilization, my dear son. Who taught you all these things? You'll be concerned. The parent will be concerned. Where is the son coming up with all this? So, Pura eva namaha Purana. Like that in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. Sri Krishna starts with a bang. He is asking a simple question. I'm confused. I want you to teach me. And suddenly, Krishna is just throwing all these words at him. Correct, Nalini ji, you're right. It'll come to that. Eternal. Because there is nothing eternal, we know. If I ask you, give me an example of an eternal thing. What example can you give?
Atma.
Atma, you have to come down to Atma.
Also, the examples
Which
that
there's
you
no
gave.
proof.
Yeah, Nalini ji, go ahead.
Also, the examples that you gave of the pot and the clay, we also hear of the wave and the ocean, the water and the wave. That while the wave is made up of water, the basic ingredient is water. Whether it's a wave or a wavelet or a billow or whatever, all of them are made of that, but they are not just that.
So wave's existence depends on water.
Yes.
Wave borrows its existence from water. Water does not borrow its existence from the wave. Water was there before, it's there now, it will be there later. But wave has a date of birth and it's going to have a date of death also. Yeah, correct. Those ideas are correct. Any other thoughts? Ramaji attends my classes. You should also say something, couple of words, Shibani ji, any thoughts?
No, Mother.
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand everything.
Sure, fair enough. No, we've spoken a lot actually. There was a lot of things I said. I accept that, and but I hope it was some kind of at least it says okay, there are things I don't know, and I need to think about it more. If that's the idea you're getting, I think maybe that could trigger your thought process further.
You should address us more often, Mahodaya. I mean, these
Yes,
lectures
you-
are really enjoyable.
Agree.
Sure. We'll look for more opportunities.
Like a lot of food for
Guruji,
thought, we got today. So
Yeah, sure.
Mahodaya,
Yeah.
I'm actually studying in the Lata class right now.
Okay.
So you wanted feedback, so I'll just say that like you said, English is very, very inadequate to express these thoughts. So the power of these thoughts when expressed in Sanskrit, even if we don't understand it fully, it's just fantastic. So bit more Sanskritam in everything, even if I don't understand everything. But that because some of these thoughts are not at all translatable, so it just reduces the power of the thing. But I really want to thank you for all the classes that Arsha Seva Kendram is organizing, and they are all wonderful, really good. And Indic landscape, I have never attended any course like this, and Haripriya ji, she has done an amazing job. I have not been able to listen to every lecture live, but mostly everything I'm looking at on the YouTube if I've missed it. But it is tremendous. It's wonderful. I mean, I think each session would be a wonderful course on itself because there is so much within it. But she has given us a glimpse into basic of what it does contain, like some idea about what it does contain. But it's been amazing. And the Sanskrit class also I'm thoroughly enjoying. It is wonderful. And yeah, I mean, yeah, just overall, like it is fantastic what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that feedback. And this course is difficult to teach because Haripriya has to pack a lot of stuff in this course. Every class is intense, right? Nyaya, and then you go to Vaisheshika. Some of the differences are very minute also. Then you wonder, is this Nyaya or Vaisheshika? Or that is after a few days they ask the question and then you forgot. Why? Because the nuances is all fine. Anuhu, Pradhana and Purusha they call. They use different words. Then who is using Pradhana? Who is using Purusha? Vedanta, no, it can't be because we have not covered Vedanta yet. So it has to be Sankhya. No, it is yoga. So it's very difficult. I mean, I applaud all of you for sitting through these sessions. And her husband prepared a lot of slides. It's a teamwork. It's not easy. She did. Her husband is behind the scenes and worked very hard on this. And she, of course, she studied all this properly. And then she, with the help of MIT, there are some teachers, you know that very well. So I thank her for offering this course. Even I would not have been able to offer the course, even if I knew the subject matter, because of the intensity of this. And that's how it is. It's very intense. But I'm so happy that all of you studied that and as Haripriya ji spent that time. Even I took a 3.5 year Vedanta course. I sat in the ashram, spent so many years in the ashram studying in depth Advaita Vedanta, Shankaracharya's works, Bhagavad Gita, all the 10 Upanishads, Brahma Sutram. These are all very important texts. But even there, they don't teach all the details of Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga, okay, and Purva Mimamsa. No, they won't teach all that because that's not the focus. But they'll mention. By the time we study all this, we kind of know what they are. Just enough. Because one lifetime is not enough to study these things. We just focus on one thing and study. You want to do a PhD in mathematics, just stick to mathematics. Don't say physics and biology and zoology and all that. If you do, then you get lost like that. So I think we have to my appreciations go all out to Haripriya ji and to all of you.
Sir, she has done a wonderful job. I want to add to what Jayita is saying because her slides are so, like you mentioned, of PowerPoint. Even PowerPoint will fail to that extent, the way she presented the slides in minute things, but clarifying everything in the same slide itself with examples. And going back to whatever ancient rishis and munis have probably invented, if I may use that word, for want of a better word, which is being copied by the Britishers now in the 16th, 17th century. What she taught, I was able to correlate because of my background. So I can easily correlate. It was all invented already, which they are trying to copy, and some of them have already accepted it in those many words. So
True.
she's done a tremendous job, and she has lived to the world of landscape. Landscape is like a helicopter view from above, like I'm from Air Force also. So she has presented that, like, the landscape is lying below of the whole of Vedantic systems, Vedas, Vedangas, whatever, and you are viewing it from a helicopter. She's given that exposure to us. I will just summarize that, where we can take off now and build upon ourselves.
Sure,
Wonderful
sure,
job.
definitely. So, sir, did I hear Air Force?
Yes, sir. I was in Indian Air Force. I retired as a group captain for 32 years.
Oh, wow, wow. Okay. So, group captain means what?
Colonel in Army,
Colonel in Army. Okay.
equivalent.
So, tell us a typical day. How was it during the last stages of your? Uh, uh,
I had variety
we are
just
not. I
to,
mean, Air Force. We hear about all these words, but we have no idea what they do.
yeah, we do all kind of jobs from, like I was not flying. So flying, everybody understands. You fly
Yeah.
helicopters or fighters or transport aircraft. Uh, and I was in ground duties. So since I'm from technical background, as I said, MSc Physics Honors. So half my career went into automating the air defense environment with hardware and software. Since 1975, 80, I was posted also in TIF for Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Bombay. So we
Bombay.
were having software projects there since 80, that old, working on machines and software. And also I had a job in integrating systems and, of course, inducting systems from abroad and working on the systems per se, like uh, to add to a little bit to this, like if you have formation of enemy aircraft, let's say Pakistani is coming in, then you intercept and attack and kill those or shoot those down. So that's the operations job. So all that kind of things I have done in my tenures. Quite a versatile job Indian Air Force provides.
Right,
Officer.
right. We salute you for all your
No,
contribution to
thank
secure our country. Yeah, it's really whenever I hear these things, I there is a Kashmiri Pandit in my class, and so they asked him those questions. We hear so much about what all happened in Kashmir and how the Pandits were literally victimized and killed and whatnot, right? And
you're
so
asking a very touchy question, but at the moment,
you're muted. You're muted. We can't hear you.
see, at the moment I'm in Jammu and Kashmir because
Oh
my
my.
daughter is married here to a Kashmiri Brahmin.
Oh,
So I'm Punjabi. So I know it very closely because the boy's grandfather retired as a major general in the army, and they are Kashmiri Pandits with very old lineage. So he used to talk to me very often. He is no more. He died at 92. So since they are from a very old generation Kashmiri family. So I know all about that has happened, and it is true to the core. What we hear are Kashmir files are shown for that matter.
yeah, yeah. So nice to hear from you about that as well. And at least there was a movie that came out, Agnihotri's movie, and we all saw it. So at least to some extent, if not the whole reality, we could at least we could at least appreciate a
It's
little.
just 10% of reality shown. It's much more worse. I mean, we have relations in Srinagar and Kashmir still, and they talk about it. So it's worse than what anybody can imagine has happened. So the exodus is true. There were
Yeah,
guys in the Air Force with me, working with me, who had to migrate overnight from Srinagar, and their parents and all had to migrate, and they were officers with me, and now migrated to Gurgaon, where that was developing. So it's a pathetic and nightmarish situation We can imagine. I mean, you touched the point, so brought very bad memories. My daughter is married to a Kashmiri Pandit.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the
Thank
Kashmiri
you, sir.
Pandit, who is my student, lives living in Mumbai. Again, migrated.
Yeah,
Harsh.
all of them are migrated now. Very few are left there who are probably bold enough or they didn't have an alternate to get out. I'll put it that way.
So they say now Kashmir, okay, thanks to Modi's government, they did all these things. Now security is better, etc. Still, we hear some problems. I mean, there are a lot of problems. It's not like everything is safe there. I can understand that. So, what are your views on that, Naresh?
So there's no doubt tremendous job has been done, and to an extent, if I may say, few years back, the army's hands were tied at the back, and we saw many clips and videos where army were being thrown stones at, unimaginable. Army being stoned, and because the orders from top were not to take action for whatever reason,
Correct.
I don't want to go into details. But now I'm from the army background, so now the hands are not tied at the back; they are on the gun all the
Ah,
time, all the time. The finger is on the trigger all the time.
okay.
So, but what you said is true, but that is the kair in Hindi called kair, or somebody who has no other way but to just show their presence. So sporadic and isolated incidents take place because somebody is determined to kill. You can't catch him, and the kind of terrain, I'm sure you know how it is. It's all forest in Srinagar Valley area. It's all forested to the extent that you can't see the daylight if you're on the ground in the bright sunshine. So their army's got a tough job, and that's how one colonel and 5 Jawans were killed recently. It's in the news
Yes.
because you are chasing all the time, and the guy who's determined is not bothered about his own death. Will kill and shoot anytime from anywhere, hiding in the caves. They were in the caves, in fact. They were trapped in the caves. So situation is excellent now. Our own relations have opened a Inox cinema hall in Srinagar after 30 years. Our own my daughter's relation side have opened a cinema hall in Srinagar, so things are coming back to normal. But having said that, these isolated incidents will continue, sir. Somebody wants to kill himself, like that lady killed Rajiv Gandhi. What can you do? She was ready to blow herself up. So such kind of people, if they're there, who are daredevil and who are not bothered about their own life, one cannot help. So army is doing its job, Air Force is doing its job, providing all kind of support from top, from there.
Yeah.
Navy has no role in Kashmir, as we know. So these two services are doing great job along with the police and CRPF. But as I said, sir, total peace can only take place when there is a political solution,
Correct.
not by the army. Army is for fighting with the enemy, not with their own people. Thank you for asking, sir.
Yeah, no, these are the things. Indians should not be allowed to forget these things. We have to
Absolutely.
keep
I'm
them in
glad,
our.
sir. I'm so glad you asked this. So, despite being from what background you are now and teaching Vedanta, you have this in mind, shows your heart for this. I'm so, I'm so happy, if I may say so.
Yeah, we cry for all the people who have lost lives, and oh boy, you can't even imagine what kind of trauma that created.
Can't imagine, sir.
Many generations of trauma. My God.
Your own neighbors have what you killed. In
That he killed,
our own
and
relations.
our own government ignored all these things willfully, and that's even more painful.
Yes, sir.
So our prayers are there, sir, and serious prayers that everything in Kashmir should come back to normalcy, and people are free, and in fact, people start going to Kashmir, and people say, no, that's the place to go to. I want people to say
So
that.
it's happening, without naming a person. He's ensuring because there's a lot of renovation work going on in mandirs. Sharda Mandir, for example, Mata Sharda's Mandir, and so many other mandirs which are Shakti Peeths of those 51 Shakti Peeths. We all know the story of Sati Mata.
Yeah.
So they were all in ruins. The last 4 or 5 years, Now there's a project being undertaken to renovate all this, so people can go. When their faith comes, and you feel that yes, that environment is getting created for you to pray, and then faith moves mountains, they say. So that's what I hope things will move in. Violence has to end ultimately. No generation or people can remain in violence all the time. Otherwise, what happens is what is happening in Israel and Palestine.
Thank you for sharing all
Thank you
those
very much.
valuable stories to us, Naresh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Back to you, Haripriya ji.
Namaste, Mahodaya. That was a wonderful session, actually. Usually, I can't talk without slides. And today there were no slides, so everybody was so happy without slides.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's not true. That's not true. Yeah, I agree with Naresh ji. That's not true.
So slides are, I think, the backbone of the presentations and teaching that you gave.
And regarding this Kashmir issue, today only I read in some news that Ramabhadracharya ji, he is planning to do one yajna to get this Pakistan occupied Kashmir also.
Oh,
So that would improve the situation much more in Kashmir.
so it brings me back the memories of the yagna purpose that you taught us.
Yeah.
If yagna is done with a purpose, whether rains or peace or winning,
Yeah.
like Lord Krishna, I'm also, sir, I also belong to a place called Kurukshetra. We all know where Mahabharata was fought. I studied there, and I studied in a school named Srimad Bhagavad Gita High School. So my school name was itself Gita High School. So I have very ancient memories. So there's a temple there of Mata, Sati Mata's place, Bhadrakali Mandir, where one of the parts of the body parts of Mata is fallen. So there it's all written in the story. If ever you happen to go, the Lord Krishna brought all the 5 Pandavas there just before the war started in Kurukshetra, and he told them to pray and seek her blessings for the victory. So even that time it was happening. I mean, they did yagnas, of course, like Haripriya ma'am has taught us with that purpose. But they said ultimately the Mata is here, based here itself. So let's go and pray. And when Lord Krishna brought them there and Mata presented, I mean, those were different times. It's not Kali Yuga we are talking of. And she blessed them, yes, you will be victorious. So Lord Krishna said now to Yudhishthir, so what are you going to give to Mata as Dakshina? So they didn't have any answer to give because they were in the midst of war. He says, yes, when we are victorious, we'll come and tie our horses. All the horses and stand horses. So all the horses there. Now, so since that time of Lord Krishna and Pandavas, that pratha is going on. If you go and pray and the desire or will, I mean, in Kali Yuga, we can only say the desire or will or wish comes true, then you go and keep horses there. So like, many mandirs have different kind of things to go in. So I just brought that what Lord Krishna's contribution and tried to relate it to Haripriya ma'am, what she teaches about yagna to us.
And our Shivani Mahodaya, she is planning to attend one yajna. Mahodaya, can you please share the details?
I'm also not aware about much of it, but what from the document which they have shared is it is for rain and the nature cycle. For that they are doing, as well as at a personal level for health, the Shanti and all those things. That yajna is there. I think
Loka Kalyana.
Soma, yeah,
something.
Soma yajna was that. So it is happening in the Konkan region of Maharashtra, near Goa.
I see.
Yeah, it's a 10 days, I think, 6 days yajna.
Okay.
And one more yajna is happening, Mahodaya, here in near Mysore. Belagola, some places there. There, they started sometime in 2022. A batch of priests will come and they will perform for a certain period of time, and the next batch will take over like that. From morning till evening, it will go on till up to 2032 or something. That's what they have said.
I see.
Yeah. If anybody is interested, they can visit that place. I can provide the details.
It's in Mysore, near Mysore, in Mysore.
Near, almost in Mysore only. We visited once recently. They are doing a wonderful job.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, so a lot of positive changes over the last few years, and now speaking with this Ram Mandir and all that. And so we pray that that momentum continues forward, and this POK thing we do here in interviews and all that. Some of the top guys have spoken, I've heard. And so now this is new that Ram Bhadracharya is doing it. So people have to talk, right? POK should become a point of discussion among people. It's no longer a taboo word, you know. So that shows that's how all these things build up. Thank you for bringing that up.
And I would like to thank all of you, actually, Jayakumar Mahodaya, for providing an opportunity, and for all the students who attended patiently and listened to all the boring lectures, and they have spent a lot of time on this. And
Certainly not boring, Mahodaya. It was
Certainly not
very, very
boring.
interesting.
No,
It
no,
was
no.
very
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah,
It's
very
very
enriching. I enjoyed all the talks, so certainly not boring.
no, some
I
of the
agree.
topics actually I felt I could have done better, but somehow it was too heavy. So
It was heavy, but it
You are
was
just
really good. I mean,
you are
very,
just
very
being nice and
enriching.
humble, but excellent. The way you
Yeah.
presented, I wonder anybody else could have done it. With the patience
And
that
for
you have, I
yeah,
wonder indeed. Tremendous
and,
patience.
and
Agree.
for most of us, it is so welcome because nowhere else, this is unique. You are like a trailblazer, a path,
Yes.
Yes.
finder kind of, because you've I, in future, hopefully there, many people will take up, but definitely in my knowledge, you are definitely the pioneer in this sort of, trying to capture such a wide area of, in a concise way, and also ensure that people are learning and engaged. So that was amazing. Thank you very much.
thank you, everybody.
And
And
in terms Haripriya ji, you don't have to worry about boring, because if at all you feel that you are boring, you just have to attend my Gita classes. Ramaji is there, and to 6:30 in the morning, 4
No,
p.m.
it is not boring.
And
Very
what is 12th chapter? 12th chapter is Bhakti Yoga. Oh, Bhakti Yoga. Okay, if we want some change, okay, come to 13th chapter. It is what? Something similar. Then the 14th, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Guna. Okay, same topic analyzed with different words, Guna. So they keep on learning all these new words. And it's just going on and on and on. We started in 2019. And some people are still there. There are still a few people in my class. So boring is
No, it is not boring. It's every day we are learning something new.
so very nice, very nice. And I thank all of you for uh, for taking the time. It's not easy. You have to invest some time and some thought process, and it takes something to come and sit and want to know, and then want to study. And nobody can put the slides like this concisely. It's all available. It's not available. I've not seen it anywhere before. This is the first time I've seen it. I've not seen it. I've been wanting to do it, but I never seen it. And so this class, this session, course, is what made that happen. So I think we're all lucky to see.
actually, that's what my husband was telling, Mahodaya. I should stop teaching and prepare the PDF of all the sutras of all the topics. So, because it is so difficult to get material for any of these, some of the subjects. and we have to search here and there, so much of effort. So he was saying you should make a PDF so that everybody is benefited.
Correct. I agree. I agree. I agree. It's nothing. It's none of this. Even though there are books here and there, you can do some googling and get some books and all. But in our culture, there's somehow it's like this. You have to listen to somebody talk about. You can have a stack of books on jnana, but nothing will go inside the head unless we hear it from somebody. Somehow it feels very simple. Oh, is this what it is? That's why these classes are so important. I feel at least. Thank you, Haripriyaji.
Dhanyavadaha, Mahodaya.
Thank you all very much. We'll conclude. If there's anything else, Haripriyaji will communicate to you. Om Purnamadav. Haripriyaji, I
Mahodaya? ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ
Yeah.